Hello, friends. I'm back with some more international news. Today, we'll be speaking about Australia and how it has been controlling the COVID situation. Australia is not far behind New Zealand in controlling the spread of the virus. With stricter measures, lockdown, and rapid testing, the Australian government has ensured the curve flattened and stays there. However, the government is locking horns with their Chinese counterparts and are pressing for an international inquiry with regard to the outbreak. The Australian government wants an independent and international inquiry to look into a whole range of things around the outbreak of the coronavirus. But the Chinese ambassador has been very critical about the position, claiming it would damage relations to the point that Chinese parents would make the decision to stop sending their children to universities in Australia, or consumers would stop eating Australian beef or stop drinking Australian wine. Now, that talk is concerning because China is Australia's biggest trading partner. But the Australian Foreign Minister, Marise Payne, was infirm in her response, rejecting any suggestion that economic coercion, as she puts it, is an appropriate response to very reasonable calls for an enquiry into the origins of the virus. Western intelligence agencies trying to find answers about the origins of the virus are looking at two Chinese scientists, both reportedly working at the Wuhan Institute of Virology that was apparently studying links between coronavirus and bats. Both have studied bats in Australia at the Australian Animal Health Laboratory, and their research was funded by the Australian government. Dr. Rob Grenfell, CSIRO Health Director, said that these two scientists were working on the SARS outbreak and the Hendra virus, which were prevalent at the times these scientists were working in Australia. Both of these are in fact viruses that come from bats, and that research was in fact trying to solve those problems at that time. He further acknowledges that their research helped Australia to an extent to control the spread of COVID 19. The research that has been done over a decade or so has set them up beautifully to actually be able to respond rapidly to the virus outbreak. However, he denies the fact that the virus arose from the labs of Wuhan. He states that there has been a paper published in Nature, a pivotal science journal in the world, that has followed that this is almost certainly a bat sourced virus that has in fact come from the community, that is, the community of bats from the wildlife area, and gone through an intermediary animal yet to be determined and then passed on to humans. Certainly, the source or the center of the major outbreak was in Wuhan. That does not discount the fact that there may well be some more sporadic outbreaks prior to this in other areas in the region. We will only know this as the scientific detective work goes on into the future to try and work out where this infection may have come from, which intermediary animal may have carried it, and understand the genetics more obvious. And that is the work that is undergoing globally right now. The University of Queensland is working on a potential vaccine. Preclinical studies are taking place at CSIRO's Geelong lab, and already 2 doses of the test vaccine have been administered to animals, and within 2 months or so, they would be exposed to the virus to test their immunity. It would normally take 2 years or so to get to this point, and they have done it in 3 months since the outbreak. The pace at which this has progressed is remarkable, but based on the outcome of the animal trial, a decision would be taken whether or not to start the human trials. Based on the plan, they are targeting the end of 2020 or the start of 2021 for the tested vaccine to be out for use. However, all of that depends on the positive outcome in a periodic and staged manner. The Australian government, however, is not stepping back from penalizing or having an inquiry against the Chinese, and they want this international inquiry to go on into China's actions leading up to the virus. They are definitely on the lookout for allies throughout the world for this cause. Currently, out of 6,025 cases confirmed in Australia, 5,602 have recovered and 82 dead. That is giving the government confidence to ease restrictions throughout certain states in the country in stages. All said and done, some of the most popular beaches in the country have just reopened today with strict rules in place. Beaches will be open from 7 am to 5 pm and are only open to swimmers and surfers. No sunbathing or baking, no friendly or social meetings or events, and no sand play with kids. Surprisingly, in Australia, there have been instances of a few citizens spitting and coughing on frontline workers. The government has been forced to act up and levy a penalty of Australian dollars 1,300 up to 13,000 on the spot on anyone found violating the dignity of the frontline workers by spitting, coughing, or sneezing on them. The frontline workers not only include healthcare facilitators but also the individuals that are keeping the economy running. People like airport workers, shopkeepers, those doing food delivery, and also their council workers, those workers who are just simply doing their job and then face disease testing after these despicable acts. So, friends, Australia is on the verge of flattening the curve and maintaining it there. Wow, that's great news to hear. And we definitely would wish Australia the best of luck in developing the virus, in developing the vaccine. Well, that's it from me right now. I'll be back with more great news from around the world. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please do not forget to hit on the bell icon for more updates. Thank you. And please do leave your suggestions and comments, which would be helpful for us to build our channel. See you. Tata.